Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. Today is Takeoff Tuesday. This is your host, Keely Austin. I'm excited to be here. Our trainer today is Bill Predebon. And as of right now, real quick before I bring out Bill, looks like we have 53 participants on the line. Make sure that you reach out to your team. We don't want any ICMs left behind. Bill Predebon is an amazing individual who I am very honored to bring out today as our trainer. Bill has been in this business for at least 10 years. He has a lot of really great experience and he's seen a lot of success. He has, since joining Renatus, he has completed over 140 deals. He's grossed multiple seven figures in real estate. He's a marketing leader, so he's growing his team here in Scottsdale. And I'm very honored to be able to work with Bill every single week here in Arizona. A little bit about Bill before Renatus. He was a pro skier for 10 years in Vail, Colorado, and realized he was not qualified to do much else. He then got into franchising, and due to lack of knowledge, that ended up costing him the business, and he lost everything. In 2007, he heard about real estate investing. He didn't have education, and he attempted this on his own. He ended up upside down in over $400,000 during the crash in 2008. And then he found Renatus. He made 8 times more in his first year with Renatus than he did the previous year as a loan officer and a mortgage or a realtor. Ever since then, Bill has completed over 130 deals. I already mentioned that. So he's seen a lot of success from Renatus, and we are very fortunate to hear from him today. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Keels on Wheels. You got me?
Yep, you sound great.
Awesome. Let's go to video here. There we go. Welcome to the call. Keely, thanks for those announcements and that wonderful put together every morning. You know, it's inspirational. It's good to hear Woody and tell the stories of these famous entrepreneurs. Inspires us. Thank you, Megan. That was super cool of you to say. Yeah, last night I had the opportunity to be on the founders call, so that was really cool. Keels, thanks for everything, man. I mean, I love your text last night to me, the personal touch, and just reaching out. And I just appreciate so much what you do and what you do for our local community, but obviously, like Michael said, what you do for the national community. Really cool. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, man. You guys, yeah, last night was trying to be short and sweet and just kind of convey a message, and I'm going to do that today. But I'm excited, Keely. I'm excited to do this call. You guys, let's use the chat. So like I always do, welcome. It's Bill Predebon here, 760-533-3141. 760-533-3141. That's my cell phone number. So I do apologize if I ever get a call from you or miss your call or don't get back to you on a text. Just hit me up again, because that just means I just missed it and I just didn't have time to get to it, or make the time, I should say. So I'm making an excuse there, but I will get back to you. Sometimes it just takes more than once. So I apologize. Yeah. Thanks, you guys, Josh and Melissa. That's awesome. It was an honor to be asked to be on that, on that call last night with Michael Huggins, and it's super cool. And I talked to Jay Stark a little bit yesterday about what part of the story I would say. So I'm going to elaborate a little bit today on it. And here's what I got. So I was thinking about this yesterday, you guys. I really believe that every time I get on this call, I promise you, I spend time on it trying to figure out some value that's going to make this worth it. So, so you're not wasting your time. Not that these are ever a waste of time, but just to get the most value. So I got a couple things in mind. If you want to come off mute or get on it and put it in the chat, I'm willing. I want to. I believe that I could at least share my opinion and my experience with how to respond to what people say, and any part of the process. So I don't care if you're just reached out to them or if you have gone to a follow-up. And what I mean by response is perhaps I'll give you one example from yesterday, and then I'm going to get into a little tangent, and then I'm going to come back to it. But if you guys throw some responses out there, I'm going to get to it. So I got to think. Oh my God, why am I can't remember it. It was like the whole thing that inspired this. They had said that, where was my, I'm totally drawing a blank. Okay, hold on. I can't believe I can't think of the response. Oh, it'll come to me in a second. And it wasn't like time or something. It was, I know what it was. I got it. I remember. I was on the phone last night with my boy, Jim. So we were talking, and he had just been talking to this individual about, like, he hadn't even really invited him to the meeting yet. And it was more of a, how am I going to approach him to get him there? And the guy's interested in real estate and has been following Jim. Jim has multiple units, a 10-plex and all this stuff. And he's like, hey, you know, I've been watching what you do. I want to get into what you're doing. And so the thought is, like, if we remember this, you guys, we are always trying to, like, we're always on, right? So we're like, oh, this person's going to be great for Renatus, and I gotta share Renatus with them. I gotta share this opportunity. I gotta tell them about our education. They need education. Like, these thoughts are always going through our mind. And so naturally we try to remember and think of the best way to say it. Without telling, we need to be selling. We need to be asking questions. We don't want to blow it. Like, all this stuff is natural. So check it out. So, you know, he was just asking me, he's like, you know, what would be the best approach to somebody who's into real estate, and how do I, you know, do you just come out for a meeting? So it wasn't really a response yet. It was just this approach. And so my take on it to him was this, is that number one is, and I know this is cliche or whatever that word is, but you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So we have a meeting coming up in Denver, in Pittsburgh again, starting off this year's campaign, the third week in January, and we're building up to that with some webinars and some three-way calls and stuff. And so Jim and I were talking, and we said, and I said to him, I said, okay, well, ask the guy. I go, number one is, we want to send him, like, if you have your AMP videos, those videos are very, very, they're very, very non-invasive, right? So it's Bob Sunder, the CEO, walking through some properties on the first video. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch them, I recommend it. The first video is only 4 minutes when they do the intro, when people put in their name and number. And then the second video is only 38 minutes. So this is cool. You guys are already busting these out. Okay, cool. So I told Jim, I said, Jim, listen, ask him. We got to ask right away. Like, flat out, why aren't you doing real estate? Like, if you're following me and you're doing things, why aren't you doing real estate? And Jim got the information that said, hey, I've got this deal. And this is the guy. He goes, I got this deal. And he's like, I don't know that, you know, I really need help, but I'm just curious, you know, should I buy this deal? It's got these units, and I can take it over for this amount, and I'll make like $150 a unit. And Jim's mindset, he's going, okay, well, I from experience know that that's pretty thin, because when something goes wrong and so on and so forth, you're going to be coming out of pocket. And these buildings are old in Pittsburgh and stuff like that. So Jim's going through his mind, and he's thinking about to say that. And I like to say it this way. This was my response. As I said, listen, when we're talking to these folks, always, and Michael says this, compliment, right? Hey, there's no question that you could do real estate without Renatus. You can do real estate without education. You can do there. It's not like they can't do it. So we don't want to say, hey, oh, you need this or you have to have this, but we want to recognize that it's possible, right? But then we want to ask the questions like, you know, how long do you think it might take you? Do you feel like it might benefit you if you had some more experience up front where you could get through it faster? Perhaps if you had some reference, you might know whether or not that return is good enough of an investment. In fact, you may find that taking over the property a little bit more creatively may benefit you to where you're willing to take a little bit less return on the side if you have far less invested into the property, right? So if I take over a property and I'm barely cash flowing at all, but I have no money in the deal, it's an infinite return on the equity I get and the appreciation and the tax deductions, right? So like if we pose that in questions, all of a sudden they may start to think about the value of your experience, the experience of the community, and the education that we might offer. Okay, so that's a little bit of an example. All right, so Anthony Mallet says, how do you respond to I only want velocity banking? Oh, good, this is good. Or just want short-term rental and don't want to pay for other education. I love this. Oh, so good. Okay, so now recall this, you guys, is that everything that I say is not gospel. Is that the right word? Bible. May or may not be the exact answer. So it's my opinion, it's my experience, and obviously I've made some sales and I've had some success in both real estate and business of the marketing here. So I'm able to share this information, but you know, a second or third opinion is fine. But so we're gonna attack these things the way I think from what I'm learning to be able to share with you guys. So, okay, how do I respond to I only want velocity banking or just want short-term rental? Okay, so the best part about this is there is such a thing as a takeaway. And there's no question that, now I don't know this for a fact. So the first thing that comes to mind is a question, right? Let me ask you this. I totally get it. If you had velocity banking by itself, I mean, go do it. Like, it is a powerful, powerful strategy, right? And then I'm going to explain it later in a minute, you guys. But then I'd say, you know, I would go out there. In fact, I know there's a guy out of Hawaii. I think there's a couple of other companies. In fact, you might even see it in Colorado on Facebook, where you can go pay like $3,000-$5,000 for a company to actually just teach you velocity banking. You join their team and they kind of go through your scenario. It's almost as if you were doing a loan modification, and you pay for this service. You pay for this system. And I think it's great, man. You should just do it. In fact, you know, you don't need the education if that's all you're going to do. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you, what happens when you need to protect your assets? Like, if you get a property, like a rental property, and then you put it in your name, how do you know which entity to set it up in? Are you going to put it in your personal name? Let me ask you this. When you start to build this business, you're going to have a rental business. Like, whatever you do for a living right now, that's great. But you've got this business over here on the side, your side hustle. It's going to be your short-term rental, and you're going to be paying down your loans, or, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. Let's just say you use the velocity banking. You pay $5,000, you bust out your house, you're done with your car and your house in 5 years. All of a sudden, you got all this equity. Then let me ask you, what if someone says to you, hey, how much is the equity in your property making? And you're going to sit there and go, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, because you want to know why. You don't know how to be a private lender. Maybe a deal comes your way and it's real estate and you could buy a rental, but you don't know how to do a HELOC. Even if you did know how to do a HELOC from a property, you might not know how to set up the entity and own that property and buy it creatively or buy it with equity, right? So Anthony, what I'm getting at, you guys, is people only see what they know. They've never bought a rental, or they've never had a short term, or they've never come across an experienced deal. Like, you guys all know this as investors. When deals come, they come all over the place, and they come with like multiple strategies and multiple options. And sometimes they're deals you've never even experienced. You're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this. I'm not studying that yet, whatever. And so if you don't have the resource, typically it would go off the desk. You would put it aside. You're like, I can't do it. Like right now, if Bitcoin came to me and this guy goes, Bill, you're going to make $1 billion tomorrow if you invest in this thing. The first thing I got to do is go, you know what? I can't do it. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the time. I'm focused on this. I don't care if it's $1 billion. I can't take that risk, and I'm going to let it go. But in real estate, there's so many different opportunities. If we don't have the education, resources, the community, someone to call, then we let the deal go. And you might be able to velocity bank down your house and your car and own your car and house scot-free. Good for you. Then what? Then are you going to go seek out more education to go buy one rental? Why don't get it all so you don't lose time, money, and energy now? Does that make sense, Anthony? And you don't have to respond, but even if they want short-term rentals, like, how do they know, right? And imagine if people, and short-term rentals, you guys are great. And this is what I'm going to get to all these, you guys. I love it. Alexia, Michael, Tyler, we're going to get to this. Check this out. So I love the feedback. And if you guys want to come off, mute, I don't care. So check it out. Like on the short-term rental, you guys, most people think about this, and you might even share this with them. And you'd be like, you know what, man? If all you want is short-term rental, then I would go seek out a short-term rental professional and go to work. But here's what I'm learning. Did you know that people right now are buying rentals based on short-term rental income? And it makes total sense, right? Why not pay $300,000-$400,000 for a house that's going to rent for $4,000 a month? But let me ask you this. What if you did that and you're able to get the loan, or you take over someone's house or some miracle, whatever it is that you do, even you turn your own house into it, right? And all of a sudden you're out renting an apartment, you're short-term renting your own personal property, and the laws change, right? This is an uncharted territory. Governments, city governments, state governments, federal government, Airbnb, Marriott, Hilton, they're all getting in the game, right? They're all buying real estate so that they can squash out the competition, and they're working on litigation, and they're looking on law, and HOAs are being implemented so that this doesn't happen, because it's an epidemic, right? Did you know in Phoenix, it's 30% plus of the market is short-term rental? Could you imagine if you live next to somebody, you have a wife and kids, and all of a sudden people are partying every single night at your house? You're going to be pissed off too. So imagine all the people that are buying rentals based on long short-term rental income, and all of a sudden the laws change and they got to get rid of the short-term rental and they got to go back to a traditional rental. You think their traditional rents are going to cover what their mortgage is? We're going to have an epidemic but you know what, for you might not be able to, you might be able to do it right. In fact, if I were you, I would just go get some short-term rental education and just buy that. Or if you were smart like me, what if you had the opportunity to refinance, learn how to structure it properly, learn how to buy it properly, so when the short-term rental changes, you can adapt. And here's the coolest thing. When our short-term rental laws change, we change our classes. We re-record them. We update them so you can take advantage of today's laws and markets. Wouldn't you rather have that? And those are the questions, Anthony, that I like to be. People can't imagine what they don't know. All they know is what they hear and what they learn. So if we can enlighten them through questions and make them start to think about what's possible, what they might come up with, what could be the better future, then they may see the value of the education and having more of it and having a greater opportunity than a very small, minute opportunity with just one or two strategies. All right, Tyler, if you get around to it, how do you like to bring up the earnings plan or other side of it? This is a great question. Okay, so check it out. I do not have a specific rule on the earnings plan and when I introduce it. You guys, this is awesome. I'm going to go through this. You guys, I'm going to get to every one of you. All right. So what I mean by this is that I don't care if they've already enrolled, not enrolled, going to enroll, first time, second time, whatever. It's going to depend on what I learned from that person. So I'm going to tell you this. I was talking to one of my folks on Lee Morris, and Lee Morris has like 4 orders in the system, just knocking it out of the park. Working on, he had 7 guests at the property tour the other day. He had a guest of a guest and her mom. It was just so cool. So I was talking to Lee, and we were talking about some of the prospects, client students, prospective students that are coming in and they're getting into the UGA, and some of them are getting financed. Some of them are looking for an angel investor to finance the UGA. And check this out. So if somebody is in a situation where they're broke, honestly, we need to be honest with them. Real estate, you guys, is not get rich quick. And real estate is the slowest freaking way to money. In fact, if I had it my way, and I think Bob Snyder is trying to share with us this information, the number one thing you could do is create a business, whether it's wholesaling, fix and flip, but more better. That's not English. You don't need to do English to do this. The better way to do it would be have a crazy marketing system from Renatus, a business that's killing it, with your job until you can replace your job or your self-employment, and you have extra money at the end of the month and you start to buy long-term wealth. Now, in the meantime, that's great. But if you find people, if you let people know that is not easy. Becoming a wholesaler in today's market, you're diving into the biggest wholesaling market we've had since the crash, right? Since prior to the crash. So I don't care what market you're in. You know what I'm talking about. And finding deals, good deals, very hard to find. Getting to direct to seller, you got to do tons of mailers. So here we go. If people are broke, I'm going to bring it up right there. I'm going to let them know, listen, you need this education, right? We're already past that. They've already agreed. But I got to share with you something. You limp in and you go UGA, and you put, Michael Huggins does very good a job of this, of comparing what the different costs are and not telling them what to do, but listen, here's what your payment's going to be, and here's what your payment's going to be with a borrowed credit card or a borrowed home equity line, right? So I got to get through these quick. So this is awesome, you guys. All right. So check this out. So I will tell them, you need to, we've got to talk about this earnings plan because it's the fastest way to money. Now, you may not appreciate it. You may not want it. It's not for everybody, but I've got to share with you why it's so important that you get into the combo when you start to do this earnings plan, because you're going to earn while you learn. There's a system. And when people are broke, they're finding housing, putting food on the table, just getting their crap together is the most important thing. And making an extra $500 or $1,000 a month on an essential sale, even if they can only afford a $2,000 essentials up front, that's the way to go, in my opinion, because it's a better benefit. Everybody right now wants real estate and has the opportunity to fund in our education system, and they can benefit from that. If they're broke and their mindset is scarcity, how the heck are they going to do a real estate fix and flip deal? They're not going to do it. They're not disciplined enough. Their situation, their circumstances, unless they're 1 in a million, does not provide them the value to do it. Now, over time, they're going to get to that fix and flip. They will, because their mindset, their personality, things will change. They will get to a point, but it's faster through the. So when people are telling me, and even if they're not in the broke mindset, but if they're telling me, I hate my job, I can't wait to get out of my job, this is going to take over my life, I can't wait, real estate income, I can't wait to, I don't like my career, I don't make enough money to pay the bills. Those are things that are not going to be resolved with real estate and what Renatus has to offer in real estate. Now, in the essentials, they could set themselves up, and you can't tell them this, but they could set themselves up, right? I mean, you could tell them this, but you can't tell them to do it as a CPA. That way they could increase their dependence so they get more of their tax money kept into their paycheck and don't go to the government, and all of a sudden they give themselves a 20-30% raise. Now they have more money at the end of the month and they can start moving along. They'll learn that in the essentials. So you could tell them that's one way to increase their money, just by buying the essentials. And then they can start the marketing, and I'll share the marketing plan with them, the earnings plan, based on the fact that they're going to have a much better chance at getting out of their job. I mean, honestly, you guys, come on, think about it. People are doing deals and making money in real estate, but it's a couple-year process, and it's a harder, longer road. That's all I'm saying, with a lot more risk. You've got to have yourself in a situation where you have resources that you can borrow money from. Most people don't use their own money in real estate. Of course, some people right away do, but most people don't. So they have to have resources. They got to learn how to borrow it. Then they got to learn how to find the deal. Then they've got to, typically they're finding deals that really are really tight because they want to get into a deal fast. So the deal isn't that good. So just be careful. So that's my answer on that, is getting to that earnings plan whenever you find the need. But if someone is talking to you about real estate only, they've been in real estate, they want real estate, they're hungry about real estate, they have a good job, they have good credit, they have good resources, they have a 401k, they have a home already, those people, just talk real estate. Get them in the education, get them moving, because they're going to be most likely to do a deal in 30, 60, 90 days because they have resources besides their guts, right? All they're lacking is the knowledge. They're not lacking the other things, so they can get into real estate. They're set up and poised for it. All right. So don't confuse the mind with the marketing on someone who wants real estate, who has the means to do real estate. Let them learn about the marketing on the back end. But the people that are desperate, and I don't mean it badly, I mean broke, I mean need money, I mean hate their job, I mean have a minimum wage job or something that's not making their ends meet, man, we've got to share with them the income opportunity. All right. Alexa says, a friend of a friend told me there's no way she could afford paying for the education after attending this weekend's property tour. What should I follow up with her? Okay. This is awesome, you guys. So I love it. So check this out. You guys, right off the bat, the first thing that goes through my mind is I don't care about the money. I do not care about, nobody goes to Renatus on the first or second date and just drops their pants and wants to get in bed with you. All right, that's probably a non-compliant analogy. But if you guys are laughing, laugh in silence. What I mean by this is Renatus is a dating system. Right? And we are going to go through some dates. Some people move faster and they fall in love faster, and they're willing to do anything for that love right away. Other people take their time. They need to go on more dates. But The minute they're turned off by the $20,000 price tag, the first date goes bad. They're attracted. They think you're sexy. You know, they like the meal you took them to. They appreciate you open the car door. But dude, you spit up on them because you got too drunk or whatever the case was, right? And that's the 20 grand. And so the thought of going to another date is not appealing. So how do they get on a second date with you when you want to make a better impression? You promise not to drink or whatever. You're going to take them to a better restaurant, or you're not going to take them to McDonald's this time. You're going to take them to a high-end dinner. So this is what it is. They're going to see Renatus, and they're going to see the price tag, and 99% of America is broke. 99% of America is going to say, I can't do it. 99% of America is going to say, it's too much. Why would I do it? I don't see the value. It's not there. It's a 50,000-foot overview in 1 hour or 2 hours of 400 hours of education with 32 instructors and 10,000, 20,000 students and Bob Snyder and this whole thing. They can't learn enough in 1 hour, 2 hours. They have to learn more about us. They have to get to know us before they fall in love. When we fall in love, we will do anything for love. We will throw ourselves in front of a car. If it's our children, whatever, we will risk our lives for it. So we need to create more value. So I tell them right off the bat, you guys, I don't care about the money. You're not ready for the damn money. Now, Keo Jones, some people I've enrolled in 1 or 2 dates, absolutely, because I'm dead sexy. But other people not. They had the resources. They were ready. They were ready, willing, and able. They weren't waiting. It wasn't the first time they were exposed to something cool. They've been searching. They were already determined. So most people, we've got to share some more information with them. So I say, I don't care about the money. You're not ready to spend 10, 20 grand. Let's get you some more information so you can make an educated decision. Wouldn't it be nice if you could meet a few more people? Wouldn't it be great if the money didn't matter? I may even use an analogy where if you think about it, right? I say this to my prospects. If you think about it, guys, is there something that you've wanted in your life, whether since you were a child all the way up, as an early adult when you didn't have any money and you saved up for it, like you worked for it, you made it happen. It was something you wanted and you believed in and you saw value in. You figured out a way to buy it. I don't care how small or how big it was, whether it was your car, whatever it was. When there's enough value, we'll find the money. So in the meantime, my job, the only way I can help you, this is you talking to your friend's friend, is you've got to, let me ask you this. Did you like anything at all about Renatus? When you were at the tour, could you tell me anything about it you liked? Oh yeah, I like this and that. And the other thing, I like Jimmy and Bill was really cute. And I'm just kidding. And, I like the numbers. I like the deals. I like the community. I like the education, whatever they respond to. Great. If there's something you like, then come back around. Let's share. Let's learn a little bit more. Let me send you a video. Let me have you talk to Michael. He might be able to share a little bit more information with you that I wasn't able to convey, right? So now they're getting more information. And you ask them, wouldn't it be nice if you could just come around, not knowing that you don't need to pay for anything, but you could come around and spend a little more time with us and learn something? Then as they start to see more value, the money will become less of a weight, and they won't need to worry about it as much when it comes to attending, finding the money and being able to afford. And then I let them know, when you come to that decision, then we'll spend 2 hours, whatever it takes, on learning how to find the money. I'll share with you a ton of stories on how people found the money. And let me just tell you right now, for example, what Bill did, and tell my story, right? I didn't have the damn money or the credit, or I had nothing except for I grew up in a good family, right? And I had a desire. That was it. I didn't have anything to do it. All right, let's move on. Excellent question, Lisa. Michael White. What do you say to people that look up Renatus online and read the bad reviews? All right, this is great, you guys. Losing money. How do you talk to people that are scared to use credit to purchase Renatus? There's 2 in 1 there. This is awesome. All right, so number 1 is, honestly, you guys, I'm an idiot. And so I tell people, whatever your situation is, when people say this, I'm like, first of all, compliment, right? I totally get it. I'm glad you're doing your due diligence. There's nothing better than having an informed decision that you're going to make, right? Like, so kudos to you. Great job. Now, let me ask you, you don't honestly believe everything you read in the internet, right? Like, obviously, people get pissed off. Do you think that people buy education and then don't use it? Do you think people go to college and don't use their degree? right? So we ask a few, well, yeah, but that's not the same. No, I totally get it. It's not the same, right? These reviews are people that are pissed, probably because, you know, they spent 20 grand and they didn't get the support they wanted. I totally get it. Like it's not legit, right? Somebody wrote it. Somebody was mad, right? But let me ask you, right? Have you heard any good stories at all about Renatus when you were there Thursday night? Do you think that there's just as many good stories or more as there are bad stories? Would you say that there would probably be more? Otherwise, we might be shut down, right? And I'm kind of laughing about it, right? Because, all right, already you guys, you're battling somebody that is in a negative space. And they're coming from a place of scarcity, and they're going to review online. They're probably an engineer. No offense to you engineers. My dad's an engineer, right? I'm just kidding. And they're coming from a bad space where they got to analyze everything and figure it out and get all of the, like, I don't even read reviews when I'm buying a very expensive item online, right? All I'm doing is I'm kind of comparing consumer reports, and I want to know which is the best for the price I'm going to pay. That's me. I don't need somebody to tell me their review, because it's just literally someone's going to tell me about a vacuum, and then the other person's going to, how can I believe either one of them? I don't know, right? So I tell them this, right? And so, but I'm not throwing it away. I'm not like, oh my God, that's stupid. Those people don't care. They don't even mean anything. They just didn't do anything. They didn't even log into their education. I don't know why they made a bad review. So I can't talk to that, but I can talk to the real stories. I can tell stories. Number 2 on the money-making activities is tell stories, right? So I'll say, hey, have you heard about Bill? Have you heard about Michael? Have you heard about the 10,000 stories that you know of? And you can tell a story. Do you think that would help you make a decision, right? At least get some more information, right? And so I think acknowledging that they're doing the right thing and going out and looking up all the reviews and then I would ask them this, right? Let me ask you, what would it take to at least counterbalance the bad reviews you read? Like, would it be talking to someone on a phone, maybe seeing a deal in person that actually works? Perhaps I could get Bill on the phone or share a story with what Dane Clark has been able to do, or Keely Austin on her first flip made 42 grand and she wasn't even looking for a flip. I mean, the stories are limitless. Would any of that help you, or are you just done with what you've read? I totally get it if you're done, but and what could I help you kind of offset some of these bad reviews, right? Let's hit it head on with transparency, honesty. People want to be inspired. And to be honest, if you're looking up reviews, and I mean them, they want you to tell them it's not true. Like, you know what I mean? We don't want to believe there's all this bad in the world about all this crap, right? Like when you hear about the president, unless you're Democrat, which is fine too, like it's not like anybody literally wants us to, as a country, what's the word called? Kick the guy out of the office. You know what I mean? We don't even pay that much attention. We'd rather something good come of a story on the news, right? Like, so be transparent and honest with people, and let them at least give them the opportunity to see the good. So good question. When it comes to people losing money and people that are scared to use credit to purchase Renatus, Michael says this really well, you guys. I'm going to get to the rest of these guys. Michael says this really good. And he says it's not wrong or right. So please, when someone says I'm scared to lose money, or you know what, I don't want to take that risk. I don't like to use credit. My credit's free and clear. I don't want to pay. I don't want to get in debt to buy education. All of these things are absolutely good. They are real. They are legitimate excuses. They are reasons, and they are believable, and they are true to that person. So it's not right or wrong, Michael says, right? So let me ask you this. When I'm talking to this guy, right, or this girl, it's not right or wrong, right? But let me ask you, you told me correctly that you wanted to get into real estate. And do you think, I mean, honestly, be honest with me, I'm being honest with you. Do you think that people buy real estate without leverage, that they don't use good debt to get real estate? Let me, even further, when you look at the wealthy, right, and you want to be wealthy, I mean, like, you may not want a jet, but, you want to create a legacy. You obviously are doing this for a reason. Your why is your family. It's you want to be recognized. You want to have the money that you want. You've told me all this stuff about it, right? Do you believe that in down that journey, that when it comes time for you to buy property, buy a rental, buy a triplex, buy a multi-unit, a commercial building, even buy into a business and things like that, that you're going to, that the wealthy, that you think they pay cash, like they save their whole life, they can't, right? Because if we did, we could have this good job. You've got a good job and you save this money. And then all of a sudden, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, you've got $1 million saved to go buy a building. Do you think you're going to go invest it in McDonald's? You don't want to give that up. You just worked 40 years for this money. Why would you invest it in a risky investment, right? You're not going to do that. And by the way, even if you did want to do it, would you really want to wait that long to do it? People leverage relationships, knowledge, businesses, and banks, and they leverage their credit and other people's credit and other people's money. They leverage all of these things in order to advance quicker. They do it calculated. The way they calculate the risk is through knowledge, right? So we've got this knowledge for you. We've got our experience to offer you in our community. And then we teach you how to learn how to leverage, right? So that you can accelerate your dreams faster, right? Does that make sense? So we're not asking you, I totally agree. If you're buying a car over your means, if you're taking out a HELOC and you're consolidating debt and you're getting, you're doing non-Dave Ramsey stuff, I totally agree. Bad, not a good idea. I wouldn't want that kind of debt either. I used to have that debt. You should hear about this guy, Bill. Stupid. I totally agree with you. But you're smart. And because you're smart, you want to learn about leveraging and using credit the right way, right? Like, let me ask you this. You have good credit. You told me that. Why do you work so hard to have good credit if you don't ever want to use it, right? You want to use it because it gives you privileges. And the privilege for you is because you've done your credit. You just need the knowledge to be able to use your credit to benefit you to create wealth. Wouldn't it, regardless of putting down 20 grand for the education, but wouldn't you want to learn a little bit more about how to do that? And then you could make a decision about buying the education. So that's kind of how I would attack those people scared to use credit to purchase Renatus is we've got to enlighten them. They're taught a certain way and we want to compliment them. We want to remind them of how great they've done, but why did they do it? If they're just walking around with an 800 score and they never get a credit card, it doesn't make any sense. All right. What do you say? Tamara, Lewis, what do you say when people who bring up Bob's old business? I honestly don't really know about that, but so I don't know. Oh my God, you guys, I love this. So this is so freaking cool. So the greatest thing is, again, you hear the leaders that talk with Bob all the time. Gary Lawrence, his story and his edification of Bob Snyder is off the chain, right? Michael Huggins calling Bob Snyder a genius. The relationship that Scott and Nancy Rowe have with Bob Snyder, also with Richard Stock, and then all the up and coming guys, Michael and John and Nate and Mitch, and all these guys and girls that are coming up through the system that have gotten to know Bob over the more recent years. Here's the thing, is that you can edify Bob and you go, you know what? You're right, man. That company, unfortunately, I don't, and you can even say this, Tamara, if you guys don't know a lot, you say, you know what? I wasn't around then. I don't know a lot about it, but all I know is they did over $100 million a couple of years in a row, and they were killing it. People were doing real estate. It was unbelievable. But what I do know is Bob's a genius. And when Bob saw the writing on the wall, he divorced himself from that company and his partner. He got out. In fact, his partner owes him money to this day, multiple seven figures. He just wanted to separate himself at all costs so he could go and turn this business around and started Renatus. You know what Renatus means? It means rebirth in Latin. He rebirthed the company out of his freaking garage with his family. Like, you want to talk, Bill Gates and the guy who started CompuWare Software and a few other Bezos out of Amazon, right? Dude, he's in his garage building Renatus from scratch. And you know what we are now? We're on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies 3 years in a row. We're a debt-free company. Debt-free. He used to have over $50,000 a month in overhead. More than that, right? Just in business. He was married to a bad person who was greedy and who was all about the dollar bills and the flash, right? And that's cool, but we're not rap artists here. We are real estate investors. We are about creating long-term wealth and changing people's lives the right way. And Bob knows it. So Bob's a genius. Bob created a system that you saw last night or this weekend at the tour where he has changed everything around. When you compare the old company to the new company, they're night and day. In fact, the only thing similar is some of the most outstanding educators that Bob begged and pleaded with to come back to his new company. And he paid them all the money they were due back from the old company, so they would come with him out of his own pocket so that they would stay with him, because he believed in those educators. And they're the best of the best. Mark Kohler, our multifamily guy, Johnny D, all these people came with Bob, and he brought them along into this new company. And you're right, man. I totally agree with you. If it was the old company, I wouldn't be here. But I'm proud of this one. That's how I talk about that. And you can't change everybody's mind. The naysayers are going to be on there, whatever. But you might ask them. You may just pose a question at the end of that, and don't go into that much detail. I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit more detail. Feel free to ask me any questions on. I know quite a bit. I'm going to get to this. You guys are awesome right here. I'm going to get to all this right here. So, you just ask them, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't you like to have that as a CEO? Wouldn't it be awesome if you got to know Bob, if you had the opportunity? I have had the opportunity to meet him. I've had the opportunity to spend time with him every week on a call. Whatever your experiences is with Bob Snyder, or even your 5 stars and your leaders and their experiences, you can gleam onto that relationship that they have with Bob Snyder and share that with them. And then wouldn't it be cool if you had that same, there's room at the top for us. So, he believes in that, and we all come together. And wouldn't you like to be a part of that, CEO? That's what I'm talking about. That's the Renatus I know, not this old company. And so that's what how I would handle that. Awesome. All right. What do you do with people that keep coming and never purchase, or say that they want the education, not taking the actions to get the education, keep putting other things priority? Okay, this is great. Okay, cool. Bill, you're spitting that fire. That's awesome. Awesome. That helps so much. You're welcome. What kind of car do you drive? Oh, what kind of car do I drive? I have a BMW 335D diesel. I have a Toyota FJ Cruiser, and I got rid of my G37 Infinity, and I am buying I'm hoping to buy it at the end of the year, but I am purchasing, it all depends, but in the next 30 to 60 days, this will be the first car a long time that I bought that's of value, of high end. To be honest, I bought a lot of properties, as I told you guys. I'm buying a 911 Turbo, probably a GT2, somewhere in the neighborhood. It's going to be a 2015, 16, or 17 Porsche 911 GT2 Turbo, yeah, that's what I'm getting. So, but we're keeping the Mercedes, unless my wife, she's looking at a Tesla, and we might turn in the Mercedes, not the Mercedes, the BMW for the Tesla possibly, but now she's changing her mind. I don't know what she wants. We love it. Our cars are all paid off though. So, we got to get back into a payment, which is something we like to do. Okay. So here we go. This is what I'm going to share with you guys. And I was thinking about this on the beginning. I was going to share this. Now, understand something. Please understand this. Every single one of, I hope I can convey this message. Every single one of us, including me, is all about the real estate. And it just is a fact. Even if we like the marketing idea, we are about the real estate. So, man, I got to remember this message. Okay. So, we have to know that when we are dealing with real estate, that we cannot convince somebody otherwise. We can't convince them how the marketing is so powerful. If we could, all of you would be making 6 figures in the marketing, and you would completely drop real estate off your plate. Okay? You would study the courses only to tell people about how good the education is. So here's the dilemma, is you're going to be talking about about education to people. So you've got this mindset that you want to be doing real estate, which is fine. You're going to do it. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But get this. The thing is that Bob Snyder cannot go, okay, this group is the marketers, this group is the real estate investors. We want testimony from the real estate investors over here. You guys can't do any marketing. And then we're going to have just the marketing guys. You guys and girls are just going to do just do the marketing. You're not going to do any real estate. And you can't buy any real estate. I just want you to do 100% marketing so we can build a marketing team, keep the business growing. And then all this over here, we gotta be a product of the product. We gotta make sure that the product works so we don't get shut down. So you guys all go do real estate. Can't do that. Everybody has their choice. There's no purchase required. There's no laws, regulations. There's no quotas. There's no nothing. You just do what you want. You are a 1099 independent marketing affiliate, ICM rather. You own the education. You don't have to be one or the other. Doesn't matter. So everybody you're introducing this to is going to be in there, and they're coming in as real estate. And so so what we need to do, you guys, is that we have to understand that they don't know anything about the marketing, and they don't have any experience in the market. I might be talking about some of you who are new right now, right? So this marketing thing, there's no belief, and it seems to be hard, and on all that stuff. So what you do understand is that people make money in real estate, they create wealth in real estate, and you are convicted on the real estate. You understand the power and the opportunity of real estate, so you're going to chase that. That's what you're after. Now, when we're talking about people, I'm going to get to this thing about the people that don't come. If I could, one of the things that I want to share with you guys is that if we could change our mindset, and I'm missing some of these points, I'm going to get back to it, is that what I know is this: when you are marketing and you are talking to more than one person, more than two people, more than three people, the majority of people that see Renatus want to do it. They're not raw, ready, and able, right? Ready, willing, and able. They're not raw, ready, willing, and able, but they want to do it. They like it, and they see it. No, very few people walk out of there going, "That's stupid. I would never buy. I don't care if it was free. I wouldn't do it. I don't care. Everybody in the community is an asshole. Excuse me. I mean a jerk, right? Like nobody says any of that stuff. Everybody wants to do it. Everybody thinks about it. Everybody's excited about it. Everybody wants a little bit more information. Everybody wants to go to the next event, but the $20,000 drives them up a wall, right? And so they get discouraged, right? And so we need to talk to more people, because there are hundreds and thousands of stories of people that come through there that do become ready, if they're not already. Then they find themselves to make themselves able. They create the opportunity to find the money, and then they're already willing, right? So they become raw, or they are ready and willing, and then they become able. And once they become able, they're a raw client, and they can buy, okay? They can enroll. And so those people happen all the time. You see it on Facebook. You hear it through Michael Huggins and all the top income earners, and what the Dane Clark, all the people that are killing it, right? And even some of the people that are just getting started, just getting 5-star, they made 2 sales. So people are doing this, right? We're doing $20 million a month in business. People are enrolling in the education. It's just not, all of us are not having all the success of all the other people. Why? Because we're not getting enough people across the information. So I'm going to get specifically, Michael, to your people right now. But remember this: if you chose, I promise you, I can't promise, that's non-compliant. In my experience is, and what I would almost lay my life on the line for, is if you chose to stop doing real estate, like stop spending time looking for deals, analyzing deals, and talking to wholesalers and out driving neighborhoods and all the action steps that you need to do real estate, and you studied more. In fact, you studied a class 3 or 4 times and you became an expert in it. Then, right? Then, in the meantime, you spent the majority of your time marketing, bringing more people to events, talking to more people, mastering the skill, getting on these calls and then listening to them again, and then writing down action steps. And then if you spent more time in the 10-step program, you spent more time figuring out your elevator speech, you spent more time doing money-making activities, building for events, placing ads, going to meetups like Michael does, meeting new people, calling on your phone list. If you did this, here's what would happen. You would get 5-star and you would make money, because you're going to have raw people coming through the door on a more regular basis. Then what are these people interested? They're only interested in real estate. And these people are going to bring money. They're going to bring credit. They're going to bring real estate deals. They're going to bring people that need real estate help on some sort of property. They're going to bring a property from a wholesaler, from their own drive-bys, where they're out in the market. I saw this thing. I found this deal. I saw this house. I know this person. I got this money. I got this resource. I talked to this Jimmy guy. He's got money. He told me if I found a deal, he'd invest with me, but I don't know how to find a deal. You're going to be bringing people onto your team that have all the darn resources on the planet that you need to do real estate. Why do I know this? Because it happens to me every single month that I end up with somebody who has a resource to get me into more deals. They get in the deal. They're 50 partners, 40 partners, 30 partners, lenders. They bring the deal. They're wholesalers. They're bird dogs, whatever they are, but they bring me deals. And my real estate business just naturally happens. But I get the knowledge because I spend my time in the knowledge and the marketing. Your real estate, and you don't need to go out and do damn real estate. All you need to do is go out and do marketing. And your real estate will grow. But if you have the knowledge and you become an expert in some of these fields that we teach you by listening to it over and over and over again, like I did, and then you take notes and action steps, you will be prepared. That when they bring you a deal, you don't have to go to Michael or some other investor in the community that's done it before, because you will be the expert and you can just tackle the deal right there. And you can say, I'll write a contract right now. Let's go. I'll analyze the deal. And you don't even care about analyzing the deal because you know you can get out of the contract. So Michael, when we're dealing with people that keep coming and never purchase, right? I don't care. You know what I do? I spend less time with them. Every time they come, I drip on them. I want them to come. I'm going to let them know what the meeting is, but I don't care. I cannot spend time with people who don't want to purchase the education. What I do is I look for more people, right? And then anytime and every time, either I or anybody I know has some success, I'm going to let them know, hey man, just letting you know, Jimmy just got started and found somebody already who got rolled, or is in this deal, or Johnny's in this deal, or did you know this story? And then I'm just going to let them know. And I'm going to drip on them with live events and live stories. But I'm not going to spend any time on them. I don't have time for them. I got too many other people. You guys, this board, these two boards right here on this month's board is $70,000 worth of roll-up sales and direct sales. That's who I have time for. People that are already signed, people that have had their order placed, people that are working on Get Funded Online, people that have told me they want to get committed this month, whatever the case is, right? And then I'm bringing in new people. I can't focus 100% on these people. They're already in the pipeline. I got to keep bringing in new people. So I keep making a list. I'm going to a meetup group tonight. All of these things. I just called a guy. I just met a guy I've known for 5 years. And I'm like, oh my God, he's coming Thursday night, right? This is the type of thing that we have to do. If people keep making it a priority, there's two reasons they're making it. It's 9 o'clock. There's two reasons they're making a priority. One is, and number one probably is, there's not enough value. They do not see the value in Renatus yet. They haven't been to enough events. We haven't asked the right questions or pushed the right buttons, right? Or two, right? So we have to bring that out of them. We have to make sure if someone's seen 3 or 4 or 5 events, they get it. There's not much more they can learn. And if they're not buying, then they are not ready. They are not a raw client. They need to go on a drip list and stop inviting them. Or you're not going to stop inviting them, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you stop giving. If that's your only client, then you need more clients, because that client won't buy. If they haven't bought in 3 to 7 exposures, they've met 10 people, been on 3 ways, you've done one-on-ones with your 5-star, forget about it. They're not ready. They want it. They know it's valuable, but they're not ready to pull the trigger, even at $2,000. So why, if somebody comes into a store and you're the salesman, they're like, oh, I'm just looking. And then you do your little sales things that you show them stuff and like, seriously, bro, I am just looking. And there's 15 other clients in the store. Are you going to chase that guy around that's going, I'm just looking, I'm not interested, I'm not buying, I have no money to buy? Are you going to follow that person around and try to sell them a baseball glove in your sporting goods store? No, you're going to go to the other 10 people who've got their kids in there trying on hockey equipment. You're going to go to the people who are ready, willing, and able. But if you've only got one person in the entire store, you're going to hound them till they leave. So what you do is you start calling people and you get more people into your store so you don't have to deal with that guy. And finally, he's going to see everybody buying, and eventually he's going to buy or go buy from another store that's cheaper. And you don't want that guy on your team anyway. I don't want him in my store. If he's going to go shop all around and he sees all this value and goes somewhere else. Getting their insurance license, getting their real estate license, they got all these other priorities. The second reason is this. The second reason is they are in a life curve where there are other things more important to them. And they feel that they can make more money faster now. It's all about money and it's all about time. And they feel that those are the things that are going to be more value to them. They can get their license. They can get their insurance license. They can start a business. They can do whatever it is that they've already been down that path. They are not willing to go after Renatus and become a real estate investor because they're willing to spend their time on something else that they feel is going to get them what they need. So we need to ask them more questions and share with them more stories so that they would be more willing to listen to what we have to offer and compare it to what else is more prioritized to them. So R is ready, right? A is able financially, and W is willing. If they're not willing, that means they're willing to do something else. And we have to give them enough information to compare our willing to their willing. And then once they see the information, they have more value on they might be willing to look at our opportunity better and more. All right. But if you've got more people and you've got people that are excited about it and you're talking to more people and more people are being exposed to it and you spend less time trying to find a real estate deal, then you won't care about the person who's not ready or willing. Like, you care about them in your heart. You're not going to kiss them goodbye, but you're not going to chase them. You're not going to spend your time. And I know you're not chasing these folks, but what I mean is you're not going to give as much weight and value to them and trying to convert them. The people that enroll with us, like you, they don't need to be converted. They just need to see enough information, and then they need a little help finding the money. But most people that find the money, they find it on their own. Once you tell them they can do a HELOC, they go get a HELOC, even if they didn't know. When you tell them they can borrow money from their 401k and they didn't know it, you don't have to show them how. You just tell them to call their custodian or they go to their HR department, and they figure out how to get their own money because they want it. They're ready and willing, and now you've made them able, and they go get the money. All right, you guys. We got to go. 9:05. I got to end the call. Shoot. I'm so sorry. You guys, this was awesome. Awesome. Love this. Great points. Thanks, Keely. Yes, Portia. Cool. I love you guys. Bob saved the Chicago community by creating Renatus. Ask Scott Rowe. Thanks, Michael White. Great. Transparency is key. Awesome. I think we got through most of them. You guys, it's 9:05. I got to go. I got to let you guys go. I hate to do it. I wish we could spend all time. You guys got a great teacher tomorrow. And on Thursday, we got Wanda. She's awesome. You guys, she cares more about people than anybody. Jump on with Wanda on Thursdays. Jump on with Dane Clark, that guy. You've heard Michael endorse him last night. We got great trainers. You guys are awesome. I just appreciate every one of you for being on this call. Thank you for participating, all of you guys, with these. I really hope this helped. I hope this makes sense. Lee Morris, you're awesome. Congratulations. Let's keep rolling. Thanks for the inspiration,
Bill, thank you, man.
brother. Yeah, man. Michael White,
you're a force.
Go ahead, man. What were you saying?
I said, thank you, Bill. You're a force, brother. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Absolutely. You're so welcome. You guys are all the force. You guys are the drive behind the force. Miguel, you're awesome. Tamara, beautiful. Monica, you guys, love you guys. Have a great day. Make it a great Tuesday. Make something happen. And don't tell anybody I swore on this thing. Make sure I'll edit that out. Sorry about that, guys. You guys are fantastic. I'm pretty excited to be on this call. Thanks for spending your morning with me. Make it a great day. And I will end the call for everybody. And,
thanks so much, Bill.
Awesome. You're welcome. Alexia, thank you for your time. Keely, everybody, Rick, beautiful. Talk to you soon.